Hi, my name is Ashley. As someone who has personally overcame addiction, mental health disorders, and struggles and physical illnesses and diseases, I help others heal the root causes of their symptoms through holistic healing and alternative wellness methods. When I say I personally overcame all of those, I have. At a very young age, I was traumatized, and it happened between the ages of 0 and 7 years old. My father was very physically abusive towards my brother, and I and my mom didn't have the courage to stand up to him until I was 3.5 years old. Now, this video is not a shame or blame post against my parents, because my parents did the best they could. However, things happen, right, that we have no control over. We live in a very stressed environment that causes us to become who we are today. No matter how old you are and you're watching this video, there's a reasoning for it. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, I never used to remember any of these things I'm telling you. I didn't start remembering until I started doing Summit 7 shadow work with my school. Most of my life was a blur. I didn't know what happened between the age of me being born and 16 years old. After 16, I remembered it all. But before that, it was just like I was here. Don't remember none of it, though. When I was 9 or 10 years old, I remember my brother Chris used to tell me that him and my sister used to have to hold me down to a chair. Hold my arms and my legs down so that I wouldn't hurt anyone or break anything or hurt myself. My mom had taken me to a psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed as having PTSD, depression, bipolar, and generalized anxiety. I was medicated at that point with Depakote, lithium, and Zoloft. My symptoms just kept getting worse though. They never got any better. I ended up hearing things that were not there, seeing things that weren't there. Then I started getting the highs and the lows and bipolar, and I was just a mess. So then I ended up going back to the psychiatrist, and they ended up diagnosing me with schizoaffective bipolar type, which is like schizophrenic, but you're bipolar as well, and you have all these other disorders So I grew up the rest of my life like a zombie, right? And not until about when I started becoming an addict was I really able to get out of the medication cloud, right? And I know if you are medicated, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that cloud that's over top of your head that makes it so that you can't feel. You can't be sad, you can't be happy, you can't be angry, you can't be any of that, right? Because the medications make it hard to feel, which there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that. So when I was 12 years old, my mom was diagnosed with stomach cancer. It started out as a small tumor, and she ended up going to the Martins Ferry Hospital, and they took a piece of that tumor out and left a big piece in there. Within a few months, the cancer had spread throughout her entire stomach. She got life flighted to Pittsburgh Allegheny General Hospital because she was very, very, very sick. I remember going up there with my brother, my biological brother. And I remember standing in her hospital room. They told us to tell her our goodbyes because she only had a 7% chance of living. And my mom was all I had, and my brother was all I had. And I remember looking at him and asking him what was going to happen to me, because I didn't want to go back with my step family. I didn't want to live there. I didn't even want to live at all at that point. My mom she still is. She's my world. She's my everything. She's my hero. She's my inspiration. And I remember him looking down at me and him telling me that he would take care of me and he was going to drop out of school if he had to, which he did eventually do. But meanwhile, no parent was home. My stepdad worked a very physically demanding job Monday through Friday, and then after he got done work, he would go up to the hospital to spend the evening with my mom and then go spend the night at a hotel or somewhere. He would only come home one day a week to make sure the house wasn't burnt down, everybody was alive. Needless to say, my siblings were in their party stages, right? They were in the alcohol stage. Let's get high, let's get drunk, let's smoke weed. Anytime anything happens, let's get high from it, right? So I was an alcoholic by the age of 13. I got kicked out of schools left and right because I was just explosive. I was angry all the fucking time. I was over medicated and just angry at everyone and everything that came my way. I got into very many fights. I threw desks at teachers because they woke me up while I was sleeping during class because I was up too late, partying, drunk the night before. Needless to say, by the time I was 15, I was facing 2 years in DYS, which is like an maximum security place for juveniles in the state of Ohio, Belmont County. So instead of doing that, I opted in for the juvenile drug court system. And they saved my childhood. Like, I would not have graduated high school if it wasn't for them. So I got cleaned up, got off the alcohol, quit smoking weed, and I graduated high school, which was something I never thought I would do. I mean, both one of my buddies and I got voted most likely to be in the office. Like, it was just like I didn't care about school. I don't think I cared about anything. Before I went to juvenile drug court, I had attempted suicide. From what I remember, 3 or 4 different times growing up. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's not something I'm ashamed of anymore. I'm not scared to talk about it. I felt like just breathing was hard. I remember walking around with just a brick on my chest, and I felt like that the world would be better off without me, that there was no point of me being here. And I tried really hard, but it just so happened every time I would try, somebody would walk in. Like, the first time I tried suicide, I do believe I was like 11 years old, and my mom walked in the room and she found me and ended up going into inpatient psych wards. So, graduated high school, I met my oldest son's dad, Shane. I did not know about his past. I did know him, but I didn't know him, right? He was my youngest stepbrother's best friend. And he used to be on crack cocaine badly, and I had no idea. My brother at the time, had graduated high school, went straight to college. It was my first year of college summer, so I was 19 maybe. My biological brother got diagnosed with cancer. And I remember feeling, oh my God, here we go again. Like, my mom just got better. Like, what is going on? And my brother, like I had said, he was my rock while my mom was in the hospital sick. He really helped me hold it together. He made sure I showed up to school and did homework. Made sure I wasn't off, like, trying to kill myself or shoot myself, anything crazy. If it wasn't for my brother, I definitely would not be alive right now. That's for damn sure. He was my rock. He got cancer, and he had came to my ex and I and had asked us to sell drugs for him because he had a daughter and could not work to support her because he was in too much pain. And I was driving him back and forth to Columbus. His cancer markers did go down at one point, and they thought he was going to be eligible for the bone marrow transplant. I offered my bone marrow. I was like, yeah, take me, do mine. And then they told him that it had very small chance of working, and if it didn't work, his death would be faster and more painful than what it was without it. So he chose to not do it anyways. I remember coming home from Columbus with him and him telling me that his cancer markers were back up and that it wouldn't be long now. And I remember going to Shane, my ex, and I broke, because how was I gonna live without my strong man, without my rock, the guy who used to beat people up because they kissed my cheek in front of him or hugged me without asking him for permission? What was I gonna do? He was the person I turned to for every bit of advice when I needed a hug, when life felt like it was falling around me. He was who I called. And I remember going home to Shane and telling him that my brother was gonna die soon. And Shane said that, I got something that can help you with what you're feeling right now, so that you don't feel it anymore. And he crushed up a pill, and he told me to snort it. And I said, what's that gonna do for me? He said, this is gonna make it so that this overbearing sadness that you're showing me, this sobbing bullshit, goes away, so you don't feel this shit anymore. And I was just like, fuck yeah, count me in. Who wants to feel that, right? Who wants to feel like that? So I was all for it, and my brother passed away. July 4th, 2012, during the grand finale of Wheeling Fireworks. My oldest son's dad, or my ex, he went to jail and then prison. He's been in and out of prison and jails my son's whole life. He's never changed. He's never, I mean, I hope this time he does, but as of then, he wasn't open to it. So, my brother was gone. I did end up getting pregnant, and they'd prescribed me Percocets while I was pregnant, so that allowed me to do any pill that I want, as long as it was an opioid. Yes, I snorted drugs while I was pregnant with my oldest son. I remember when, after he was born, I was not getting high off the pills like I used to. Like, they didn't do anything for me. They didn't make me feel good like they used to. So one of my friends had asked me if I ever shot up before, and I told him no. So they tied off my arm and they shot me up for me. I remember falling to the ground, like just melting into it, and feeling, every emotion, every worry that I had just lift away from me. At that point, I was hopelessly addicted to that needle. There was nothing that could take me away from it. Not my child, not my mom, not nobody. I became homeless. I was living in my dead brother Chris's Durango, and I overdosed purposely about 6 or more times, because I felt like my son, at least my mom, would get money for him, if I wasn't around to help with him. And I felt like it was a disappointment to everyone. I always felt like that, though. I always felt like I was broken. I'm the black sheep. Nobody wanted me there. Family reunions, birthday parties. I mean, to this day, I still don't get invited to my nieces and nephews' birthday parties. No matter how long I've been clean. And that's okay. That's okay, right? So, I wanted to die so badly. I remember falling asleep at night, praying, begging God to take me. Like, please just take me. My family, my son, everyone will be better off without me. Why the fuck am I here? Like, I'm doing nothing but walking to McDonald's, eating half-eaten cheeseburgers and french fries out of the damn garbage can, walking back to the van, robbing people of their money, robbing houses, this and that, to get my money for drugs, or doing drug deals for drug dealers, to support my habit, going back to the car, shooting up. If somebody found me and I overdosed, fuck, I was mad. I was severely mad. Till finally one day, I overdosed severely. And when I came back, well, let's just say this, I just screwed up big time that day. I robbed my mom. I robbed a lot of people. And I ended up going to jail for a long time, for 18 months. However, in jail, they do not give you the coping skills you need to come back out, and how to live life, and how to heal. So I came back out, and I'd relapsed off and on for several years. When I finally decided enough was enough, I was like a closet. Like, I had relapsed several times, and I was using closetly. Like, I didn't use from anybody. I bought from one drug dealer, and I was engaged to this guy named Jordan Easton. He was a really, really good man. I had no idea that I had relapsed, and that time was an accidental overdose. I accidentally overdosed, and when I came to it in the hospital, my whole family, my stepbrother, my mom, my stepdad, and my fiance was beside me. And I remember him asking me for his engagement ring back, and him telling me that he was done. He could not be with somebody who chose that over life. And that was a big wake-up call for me, because he was right. You know, why would I want to choose that over the life that I had with him? Because he was giving me a very beautiful life, right? So I decided to go get help. I was honest with my probation officer about me relapsing. I didn't have to be, but I was. He told me I had 1 month to 2 months max to find a rehab, and to stick it out, be compliant, come back, and get a hold of him. Well, first rehab wanted to severely medicate me and put me on MATs, and I'm like, fuck no, I don't want on meds. Like, I don't want no medications. They refused. So I got kicked out of that, or I left that rehab, went to the second one. They wanted to do the same thing. My PO said, this last rehab, if you do not stick it out, it's close to the 60-day mark, if you do not stick it out, you're going to go do the rest of your time over your head in jail, which was another year. I did not want to miss out another year on my oldest son's life. So I chose the third rehab because they had compromised with me, and they had stuck with putting me on Zoloft, Lexapro, and MAT Subutex. It was really weird though, because I was already off the drug. It wasn't like I was going through withdrawals. Why did I need an MAT to help my body transition, right? Whatever. They never gave me the answers I asked though. Like, I had asked them that. I said, why do I need this drug? Well, this will help you not relapse, and this and that and this and that. I said, can't I do that myself? Well, no, you need help. And I'm like, I felt broken. I felt like I just kept being put in these boxes, in these cages. And that was my story, and I stuck to it. I became broken again, and for a long time. Even while on Subutex, when I got out of that rehab, I was still relapsing off and on. And in 2018, I met my youngest son's father, who is the split image, not like looks-wise, inwardly wise, of my biological father and my stepdad. He was very emotionally abusive and physically abusive towards my children and I. However, when we first got together, and he found out that I relapsed by catching me shooting up in the car, he shared a bit about his story with me. He had told me that he watched his mom get murdered, shot in her head when he was about 6 years old, him and his sisters, and he was torn away from his sisters for a very, very long time. And to me, that was like, oh, so you can go through that and not use drugs and only deal drugs, and here I'm using over the little shit I've been through. Because, I mean, there was other things I'd been through other than losing my brother and my mom, being in and out of the hospital for however many years. Like, there's other things I'd been through that were very, very traumatic, but I don't want to go into those right now. So when he shared that with me, he shared his strength with me, and I was able to stop relapsing. So from 2018 on, I've been clean. Now, I've been clean off heroin for over 10 years. Don't ask me how many days. I don't keep track. I never have. I've never been one of those people that go to NA and AA meetings. I stuck to my small support group, my friends, and that was it, right? Well, when I got pregnant with my youngest son, they took me off my Lexapro and my Zoloft, 2020. And I remember feeling like I really was going crazy this time. Like, this time I really was going batshit fucking crazy. And I needed something. And I, after giving birth to him, I was considering going back to being prescribed the Zoloft and the Lexapro. And I had sat my ex-husband and my oldest son down and was like, you know, I am suicidal right now. Like I could take a whole bottle of pills and not care otherwise. So my question for you guys to help me through this, should I get back on my medications? And they said no. They had seen me cry for the first time. They had seen me laughing cry for the first time. They seen me angry for the first time. They actually seen me showing emotions and having fun. And they had never seen me having fun in my life. Like, no emotion shown. Walking, talking zombie because of the medications, right? So from then on out, I've been off meds. So since 2020, it's now 2026, I've been off medications. Actually, no, 2018. Or no, 2020, I'm sorry. It was hard because I was still reaching out for everything and everyone to help me and save me when really only I could save myself. So, needless to say, one of my girlfriends, Tara at the time, I had told her my issues and I had asked her to come and get me and take me to an inpatient psych ward. And so she said, no, I won't do that, I'll do you one better. So she came over and she brought me the book, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And she said, read this. Go down whatever holes you feel like exploring, get on YouTube, go to the library, do what you need to do. She said, this is what's going to help you, not the psychiatric care, not the rehab center that's going to help you. Only you can help you. Oh, what the fuck ever. But at that point, I would do anything to change. Anything. I've always been that person. I will try and do anything. Like, I was an adrenaline junkie for most of my life, doing crazy shit just to get the adrenaline from it. So anything and any suggestions anybody has to give me, I'm trying it. Well, needless to say, It took me down several million Alice Wonderland holes. Like, holy shit. After 2021, I think it was, I was told that I would need to get a liver transplant because I had Hep C, I had an autoimmune disease, and I had stage 4 liver disease. And I didn't have a gallbladder or an appendix, and I was eating severely fucking unhealthy. And my body was showing it. It was also expressing all the emotions and trauma that I've held on my entire life. If I didn't have that liver transplant by the time I was 35, I would be dead. So they wanted me heavy medicated, again, off stuff to help my Hep C. First I had to get my Hep C under wraps and then prepare for the liver transplant. And I was just like, fuck y'all, I'm not doing that. In 2022, I had also started Praxis Aletheia. It's called the New Human University, and it's filled with amazing souls. I had met holistic practitioners, Reiki healers, homeopathic doctors, acupressure doctors, just like tons of amazing people, right? And it was very synchronistic because they actually helped me, give me the suggestions I needed to heal my body. I am now 36. I did not need a liver transplant. I do not hear voices. I no longer cry myself to sleep at night hoping God will take me. I'm alive and I'm living. And I help other people heal the reasons why they have these symptoms, because it's so much deeper than what people think. People think, oh, I get a headache, let's take a pill for it. No, that'll just suppress it even more. Okay? Same thing with my autoimmune disease. All it was my body speaking to me. And it took me a long time to really embrace that and talk to it. We can talk to ourselves, and how we talk to ourselves matters. I help a lot of people let go, relive, and join the holistic journey, because it is possible. I'm a living testimony that it is possible. If you are interested to become a client of mine, comment more, and I will reach out to you.